All right, welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the Recreation Joint Committee for the month of September. First item on the agenda is the approval of last month's minutes. They were sent out to all the members in advance. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes? Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, all in favor of passing those minutes? Any opposed? All right, they're approved. Next on the agenda are our amenity reports, which I'll begin with the Metfield Rec Complex. The fitness center looked great, just a few members using the equipment. The pavilion area was clean and looks great. Park restrooms all look great, well stocked. The playground was in use, looks great. Pickleball courts were not being used, but look fantastic. The pool area, of course, is closed for the season. The area for review is I noticed the building trim in front of the fitness center needs some attention. The paint's actually peeling off. I took pictures, so the pictures are included. Member interactions. I spoke with a few members and all were positive. One member actually was running for city council and loves our trails and lakes here. No additional observations. That's all I have. Next is Branchwood Complex, and I don't see Corey, so we will move on to Loch Lomond. Oh no, that's also Corey. Blowing Springs then, Larry.
Hello. Blowing Springs in the Gear Garden, did my visitation. Everything was very well maintained, except as I noted below, all the tables, other campground and Gear Garden amenities look great. I was there fairly early, about 8 in the morning, but there were a lot of people walking around. I think they were mostly campers in the campground, but a fair number of people on the trail. Now, that was a pretty hot day, so they were getting out pretty early. It was the 29th of August. And then in the campground, I went through there, a lot of campers sitting outside their vehicles, socializing, like it was about half open, half full. The employee who's normally at the booth, they're not open that early, so there was no one to chat with there. I've noticed, and I noticed it last month, there's showers. If you're at the Gear Garden, you walk across the parking lot, there's a bathroom complex, there's outdoor showers. Neither of them were operational, so I'm almost assuming that was intentional, they've been turned off. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Larry, I think they went ahead and winterized those.
Okay.
Probably a little bit early. But usually it's late October, or usually, I'm sorry, it's usually second week of October that they do that.
Oh, because this was also true last month. In July, they didn't. No
and you turned them all the way? Okay. Well, we'll have maintenance check on that.
Okay. Other than that, everything was operative. As I mentioned last month, outside the Gear Garden, there's a water fountain and a place to fill your bottles, and that could use paint. But I noted that last month and included a picture. Could need to be repainted. I did not interface with any of the members or guests, and my additional observations is just the water station. Everything else looks really, really great, well trimmed, well manicured, just really great amenities there. So.
All right, thank you, Larry. Now, next up would be JP Devaliers. He was going to join us remotely, but I don't see him up. So at this point, we could backtrack a little. Corey just stepped in. If you're able to, to give us your report, all right.
Sorry for my tardiness. Further over here than I remembered. Branchwood pickleball courts were full. Gym and pool were all very active. Everything looks well taken care of. Loch Lomond rec area, dog park, lots of folks on the dog park, lots of folks on the trail around that goes around the fish ponds. Areas for review at Branchwood. I have in the report there was caution tape across the trail for no discernible reason, but then right there up at the, next to the facility. But then my wife and I were walking on the trail this weekend, and she said that's because there's, she discerned it. That's because there's a limb hanging that's about to come down, but there's caution tape around it to direct you around it. It looks like there's an armadillo rooting around the playground. They're in the basketball court area. There are some metal poles that are on either side of the, they're in the basketball court area itself. And they look like they were at one time there to hold a net. Maybe it was a pickleball court at one point, or something of that nature. But they're in the court, and so just maybe consider removing those to.
Then they sit flush with the court?
No, they're actually in the
coming
paved
up.
area of the court. They're inset maybe 18 inches. It was from I didn't notice them until I was talking with a member there that pointed it out. Said he'd hate to get in a spirited game, may run into one of those there. And then that's all for Branchwood area review. And then Loch Lomond area of review. The picnic tables have got some that we noted last week. They're actually both in the large dog area instead of one in either. I was mistaken. But they've got some loose brackets hanging and that kind of thing. And then we already talked about the tree that was down in the dog area, which you said had been corrected. As far as member interactions, Branchwood, I spoke with a member that just moved here from 3 months ago. He was playing basketball, was just thrilled to be here and to be within walking distance of the Branchwood complex. His only suggestion was maybe a fence around. He said if I were reaching for something to talk about, it would be a fence around the basketball court, because if the ball gets away from you, it really gets away from you. And then Loch Lomond, there was a man there in the dog park, said he had been here about 5 years. He was only complimentary, only mentioned the tree that was an obvious issue. And then just as far as additional observations, there's a shuffleboard court, or what do you call a shuffleboard thing? But there's a shuffleboard court at Branchwood that I've never noticed until this week. But it's badly faded. I don't know if it gets used. If we thought it would get used, if we did something with it, then that might be worth considering providing supplies for. I don't know that we provide the sticks or anything.
Yeah, we do. They're up inside the Branchwood Rec Center. Doesn't get used a lot.
Yeah.
We did possibly think about making it a practice pickleball area, but we would have to expand the concrete, and we put in all those nice pickleball courts.
Yeah, they're very nice.
The budget didn't suit for that, but we actually have one at Metfield too. Some people use it, actually, believe it or not, in the mornings to do yoga and stuff on.
Okay.
But,
I don't know that I've ever seen anybody play shuffleboard, but
yeah.
It's there. And then there were several pads on the workout equipment at Branchwood that I went in one day, and several of the machines were taped off, and then like the next day they were all taken care of. So just to say that Nicole did that really well, very timely, and I didn't even notice that they were messed up until she had them, taken them off. I was like, yeah, those were kind of ratty. And then another separate thing was I had a couple of interactions with POA employees this since we met last time that were just excellent. And both of them, one of them is Johnny, the bearded fellow, and he's always super friendly, but he stopped me and said, hey, I saw you're on the rec committee. I always watch those to try to get ahead of what Jones wants me to do and that kind of thing. Him and then another fellow whose name I don't know, unfortunately. But I thought I thought a lot of those comments. That was really impressive to me.
Please don't compliment Johnny. It goes straight to his head. It's going to be bad. He's going to be insufferable. Please don't compliment again.
All right. Noted. No more.
All right, thanks, Corey. Brian's unable to join us this evening, so I will report for him. And I'll start with Tyree Park. Boy, this writing's small. Overall condition,
I'll start.
You wanna try these?
no, I'm,
Actually, what I'll do is I'll try and remember to print them out so
Oh,
that
yeah.
we have one. Anyway.
okay, the lawns are well groomed. There was a little to no notable litter. Trash receptacles are being emptied and mutt mitts were available. Restrooms were stocked, relatively clean and in good and functional condition. Personal watercraft storage rack is in good condition with all boats secured. Other structures are in good condition except as noted on previous reports or as listed below. Areas for review. 2 of the picnic tables exhibit a considerable amount of biological growth on the table and bench surfaces. He has included pictures here, which we can forward on. Member interactions, there were no members or guests available from which to solicit feedback on the amenity or recreational activities at the time of the evaluation. Additional observations, the large sycamore tree behind the restrooms and adjacent to the playground appears to have died and would suggest be removed before it could cause damage to a surrounding area. So that's Tyree. Granton, the lawns were well groomed with minimal to no trash observed. Mutt mitts were available. The outhouse was stocked and was relatively clean. The fish cleaning station was clean and in good condition. Personal watercraft storage rack is in great condition. Other structures are in good condition, except as noted in previous reports. Areas for review. There's a pair of side rails next to the apron leading to the fish cleaning dock. Now, from my observation, he does include pictures here. These look like something you would take off of a flatbed trailer. Someone may have left them there. Member interactions, spoke with a couple who were at the park exercising their dog and let it swim. They stated that they use and enjoy the park about once a week and had no recommendations for improvements. Additional observations, there are no additional observations for this report. That sums that up. And I see that JP is still not here. So we will move on to Kingsdale. Richard.
Excuse me, as far as the dead tree goes, we're aware of that. It died sometime this summer. We've already had a tree company come out and give us an estimate on that, and they assured us that we would be good to take it down during the next budget season. So it'll be there for a little while.
All right, Richard.
Well, I guess to start off, all the facilities I reviewed were really good shape this time. I mean, overall, the pools are still open here at Kingsdale, and there are still people out there today. Mini golf was in good shape. Pavilion, playground, and as an aside, when I went through the rec center, there was a employee with a beard. I can't remember. Johnny. I can't remember the name. But he kind of saw me wandering around and asked if he could help me, and I told him, well, I was at the rec committee and I'm just kind of wandering through, kind of looking at things. And he gave me about a 10-minute guided tour of about every room in the place and what the function was. And
are they up for yearly review?
I just thought it was funny that Corey said that.
Did he give you guys $20 or something like that? I mean,
Only 10. I only got 10. I don't know what. But anyway, I thought that was funny. The tennis center, I guess today they've got a big tennis camp going on, and it's a lot of activity over there. And I noticed that, well, it's kind of a broken record, but you're aware, I'm sure, but the courts 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 are in pretty bad need of resurfacing. But I think you're already aware of that. And there's issues with some trees overhanging 7 and 8 that I think are kind of problematic, possibly. One of them I know did fall. The big limb fell right on the bench where these ladies were playing, because I heard about it from them. They were saying that they had seen this big tree limb fall, and they were kind of a dead limb, and they were nervous. And then while they were playing, fortunately, the limb came down on where they were, and they were like, okay, we dodged that bullet, but, so I just throw that out there to kind of, needs to be kind of inspected and trimmed back, I think, before somebody gets a limb fall on them. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing I noticed in Kingsdale, it's really been cleaned up. Bathrooms have a lot more toiletries in them, and they just seem to be a little cleaner and more kept up than they were. Not that they were bad before, but I just noticed a positive change, and all the old tennis rackets have been taken down and the walls have been painted, and it looks really nice in there right now. So I thought that was good. I think that's all I have.
And Richard, just so you know, the guys were over there, they've looked at those. We're addressing those limbs on 7 and 8.
Yeah. Had you heard about that?
Yeah.
That limb fell?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought-
I heard that the limb fell, yeah.
Okay, you'd already know.
Yeah.
One other, let's see, there's one other thing. No, it escapes me now, but that's good.
All right, thank you, Richard. Next is Keith for both Lake Ann and London Park.
Now, starting with Lake Ann, both Dam Park and Boat Ramp Park. Starting with the Dam Park, the waterfall bridge over the waterfall is in great shape. The loose cable and weed overgrowth that was noted in my July visit was corrected, looking great. Covered fishing dock, fish cleaning station, all great. Trash cans empty, bathrooms good. Water surprisingly brown and murky. Perhaps it's just what Lake Ann is like this time of year. No member interactions there during the week in the morning. No areas to review because everything was addressed. In the launch area, the pavilion barbecue areas were great. The grass was perfectly mowed and trimmed. Portalets both clean and stock, trash cans good, ramp cleaning station well done. Only areas for review, there's 3 canoes with 23 or later. We seem to be getting that number down every month. All dock boats have proper registration, except there was an old bass buggy pontoon without Bella Vista registration, but nice to see. I included a picture that a warning was left on that boat just the day prior. Great member interaction. Had a chat with Jim Woodward, pulling out his boat around 10 o'clock after fishing since 5:30. Just absolutely love the area. That's what's the funnest thing about this volunteer position, is just interacting with people and hearing how much they love it. He's been here 13 years, loves our low cost and high quality amenities, golfs and fishes on most all lakes, just loves Lake Ann, and his wife enjoys kayaking and paddleboarding. And for London Park, not a lot to say there. Grass was in fantastic shape, bathrooms were good, cleaning station was good, couple boats in the water, but no member interactions. And I had it mentioned in last week's report, but wasn't here to verbalize it. But I did include pictures. Just at some point, we need to consider dredging the area where the creek meets the lake. It's just kind of unsightly, and you know, it's I know that's not a cheap opportunity, but it just doesn't look very good.
That's an area that requires periodic maintenance. Every time we get a big rain, it washes in. To do it with the lake level all the way up requires a permit, which we do have in hand now. And as soon as I can get our heavy equipment away from our big project at the gun range, we'll get that scooped out.
So awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Keith. And Brian's also to report on the gun range, and I will do that for him. And this is for the pistol range, I believe. Pistol and rifle ranges. They're currently closed. No, wait a minute. Well, he's reporting regardless. They're currently closed, although the structures are in good condition, except noted on previous reports as listed below. Areas for review, it was suggested that improvements be made to the trap and skeet area lighting for better visibility during low light conditions, and that electrical power be added to 2 of the outbuildings. Member interactions spoke with several gentlemen at the trap and skeet area of the range, and they all seemed friendly and were eager to provide opinions on potential improvements to the facilities. I also provided them with updated information on the progress of the rifle and pistol ranges. Additional observations: there are 6 lighting poles staged at the parking area. Will these be used soon? And he has included pictures. I'm assuming they're for the construction of something in that area. And that's all he has here.
Those are just some old lighting poles. They may be inadequate whenever we go to add lighting to that facility, but that's somewhere down the road. But we did acquire those poles with that in mind, but we think they might be inadequate at this point.
Okay. Right, well, that's all. Thank you, Brian. Tanyard Creek. Well, before we move to Tanyard Creek, I see JP has joined us. Can you hear us?
Me?
There you are. Would you like to give your report at this point?
Sure, and I apologize for being late. I just, something overran and I couldn't
Not at all.
get there.
Go ahead.
So Lake Anne, so the beach is closed for the season, and thank you for posting it well. There's no doubt, nobody's asking questions, as well as the restrooms and directions to go use the porta potties across the road. Everything is well posted, I guess. Did meet with Mark and his 2 daughters who were playing on the zip line, and then they were in the sand, and he just suggested that we had more than just the zip line there in terms of children's entertainment, like a jungle gym or play structure. He thinks that would add a lot to the place because, for I guess half the year it's closed, and it would be good to bring other people to that park. The Watsons were cleaning off their pontoon boat, which is, and the photographs of all of this is in the report, but they little frustrated. They've been living here for a long time and they can't get a slip on Loch Lomond, and they're really irritated by that. And they've been told that they might not get one until 2026, and they keep waiting, but they really want to get off Lake Avalon and get over to Loch Lomond. And I'm pretty sure this is a concern that many people have, and they're on a waiting list because I think they said they were number 86 or something. And so I guess it is worth thinking about what are we going to do with more and more people moving into the area, and how do we manage that? Because I would hate for it to mean that prices keep going up, right? And the local people get priced out of some of these things. But anyway, just a thought. I went over to the dam wall side, and everything looked great. There's a couple of boards that I noted, and I took photographs of them, that are either loose or there's one that looks like it's rotting out on the one where that fish building is. It sounds a little silly, but I could just take my drill and screw them down as well if I'm there looking at it and save an extra trip. But I didn't want to do that without saying, should I do that or not? Because I'm out there anyway. I might as well just screw the ones in that need to be screwed in. But anyway, I put the documents there. I put the photos in the report. And that's all I had. So thank you.
Thank you, JP. Well, Alan, Tanyard and Trails, Blowing Springs Greenway.
Okay, we'll start with Tanyard Creek Park first. I was there on Labor Day weekend. The parking lot was full. Overflow was 75% full. I counted over 65 cars at 12:30 on Friday. Then I scoped out the rest of the areas. The restrooms in the pavilion were clean, clear of debris. We have one item that needs immediate attention, and that's in the men's restroom. The urinal does not work. And I knew it, and I ran into this couple from Kansas City, and that was the only thing. They'd been over the whole park, and that was the only thing they brought up as a negative. So yeah, that needs attention for sure. Let's see, the Tanyard Creek volunteers are active. They developed a project list for this fall, and they'll start it. In fact, we'll start it in the morning. I'll be there in the morning. let's see, that's all for Tanyard. Boyden Springs Greenway Trail, beginning at the front parking lot all the way to Houston Road. The trail bed is in excellent condition, very active, used by campers and locals to connect to the other mountain bike trails and all that. There's a lot of overgrowth along that area. And I did talk to a couple of members that were concerned. If right there where the camper cabins are located, there's a curve coming out of that one connector trail that comes in, and it's very overgrown. So when you come around it, you can't see traffic coming. And if somebody's got a dog on a leash, I mean, a biker almost got me the other day. And if you got a dog on a leash, they could really get tangled up there. So that whole area, I don't know when they do the maintenance on that, if that's a yearly thing or when it needs it or whatever, but we need to take a look at that. Also, along the road, along next to the trail, the signs that let people know that the trail crosses at that point, they're completely covered with foliage. You can't even see them hardly. So if somebody is not familiar with the area, they're driving through there, they don't even see the signs that somebody's fixing to cross the road. So that, we could maybe do some work on that too. Other trails, the Little Sugar, all trails are open. The Tunnel Vision is closed at Bluebird Trailhead. I'm not really sure why. I haven't been there. The Back 40, all trails are now open. They just say ride with caution. That's about it. One other thing, I have a trail suggestion. I'm going to call it Walk on the Wild Side. I suggest Tweety Bird this month. People to get out. It's 1.7 miles long. There's 168 foot of elevation. It's about a 30-minute loop trail. Wonderful for kids. It's a great birding area. It's at the confluence of Prescott Road and Chelsea. Just a great little, and it's wide trail. So, you like it? Yeah. I was out there the other day. A lot of kids are running it. And you might even see, maybe I shouldn't say this, you might even see Bigfoot there. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Alan.
Yep.
Next on the agenda is our current business, and that would be with Tom to start on the gun range.
All right, here's your September update. You might recognize that photo. I recycled the photo. It's a great photo, so I just used the same photo from last month. But same team is working out there just about every day. So this is a view of the rifle side, and for those of you who have been out there, the berm on the right side is brand new. You'll notice that the berms are much higher, and you're shooting into a U shape. So it's fully enclosed, and that's without the baffles being added yet. So that's just the berms itself, and they're much higher than they used to be, and they're much wider. They can actually drive equipment on top of them, where before they just peaked. And so if you got a lot of shot up there, it would slowly, deteriorate. Well, now it's, I don't know, how far across, John? Bulldozer width, whatever that would be. So, huh? 14 feet?
What was the number?
14?
I believe that's correct.
14 foot high?
We talk about it in terms of elevations. So can't remember what it is from the range floor, but I believe you're really spot on.
So they're big. And then, so this is the forward portion of the range. So we're gonna have a path that'll go from the shooting locations all the way down. The path will be ADA compliant, and then you have those 3 areas that you can see right here. Those are at the 50, 75, and 100 yard marks. The near portions of those paths will have railroad ties. So if you recall from my previous presentations, the railroad ties will prevent against skip shots, where it hits the ground and then leaves the range because it skips. That will knock those down. Also, it'll keep people from hitting the forward portion of the concrete, which would be bad. The targets will be actually on the far portion of each of these locations. And all of those are handicap compliant. They'll do the near portion after they do the baffles, because they have to, it's going to be a lot easier to install the baffles without having to worry about driving over concrete and messing up the concrete work. So they'll do the baffles. The forward portion is going to be challenging because you have the septic system there, you have the baffles, and then you have these paths they're going to install. So they're going to have to do a lot of negotiating to get around everything. But that shows you what it looks like. A little bit closer view of the mounds or the berms, and you can see they're quite tall. This is at the entrance, and this is the handicap parking stall that we've installed, that we've had put in. And you'll notice that we've also cleared out that area. It used to be kind of a thicket of trees, and they're all gone now. And you'll see that the path will actually wrap around, so we'll be completely ADA compliant when we're all done. This is the center area, so let me jump forward real quick. If you recall, we have on the right side is the pistol, then we're going to have a berm, and then the archery area. And so this is that flat area right in between. If you had been using the range previously, that was just kind of a mess of everything growing in there, and now it's all flattened out, and that's where we're going to put the archery range in. This is the pistol side. So you can see the shoot house, and then you can start seeing the first baffle being put in. You see a couple of the guys on ladders installing work. Also take note of the path on the left-hand side. So you'll have a handicap compliant path that'll take you all the way down to the shoot houses. This is what it looks like. So I was standing at the shooting location, and this is what it's going to look like. Now the berm isn't 100% completed on the right-hand side, so we'll be adding more to that. But notice how it really narrows your focus. It keeps you focused in the straight line. And also those boards, you can't see any blue sky. So if you're shooting there and you shoot and then maybe it goes up like this and you shoot again, you're still hitting wood. Or you're going to hit the roof. You're going to hit wood somewhere, and it's going to knock that shot down. This is the right-hand side. So you have these end caps, if you want to call it. You have them on the right and the left. So you're supposed to put your pistol down, and it's always pointed down range, even when it's unloaded. But every once in a while, someone will put it sideways and it goes off. Well, this will knock anything down on this if it goes laterally. This is what the back side of them look like. So they're not done. They're going to have wood on the back, and then they put chat in between. They pour it in between, and that chat is, it just knocks it down, or at least greatly decelerates it, so it's not going to go far.
What's a chat?
John, explain to them what chat is.
It's a fine gravel.
There you go. So we're announcing our first tour of the gun range. Will be on October 15th, at 3 p.m. So if you're familiar, anytime we do major renovations, we like to give tours while we're still under construction, lets everybody ask questions, see how we're doing. At the end of the day, we're doing this for the membership. We're spending the membership's money, and we want you to be able to see how we're spending your money and what we're doing. So this is the day after next month's meeting. So I hope everybody's able to make it. It's a Tuesday. And timeline, we're still not going to commit to any timeline because although they've gotten a huge amount of work done, they still have a long way to go. So we don't want to make any commitments and then fall short of that.
Will you film that meeting out there, the tour?
No, but we'll start doing I don't know if you've seen where with Tanyard Creek Practice Center, we've been doing those drones. We'll start doing that in a little bit. We just got a lot going on. You'll see that we have, they have the one baffle going, and they're learning a lot and they're quickening the pace, but they have 4 or 5 additional to go. So it's a lot of work. We're doing it all in-house, which saves a lot of money, but takes a little bit longer. So very pleased with the crew. They're doing a great job. I think the membership's going to be really pleased with their gun range when we're all done. It's going to be much safer. Any questions? All right, the next thing that I wanted to go into is unrelated to the gun range. So Joan is on vacation today. I spoke with her earlier. She's driving back from Indiana. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Somewhere else.
One of those I states that are up there, just kidding from anybody that's from there. So she's not here. This is really her announcement to make, but she's not here today. But Joan has announced her retirement. She's been with us a little over 9 years, and she's going to retire towards the end of this year. So she's done a great job for us, and we're very proud of the work that she's done. And she's been very gracious in giving us a lot of advance notice. So we don't have a succession plan ready to announce just yet, but I can tell you that we have Joan has developed a very strong bench, and we're very proud of all the employees that she's spent time developing over time. So we'll make that announcement at one of the future meetings. But next time you see Joan, please thank her for all the work that she's done here for the membership, and congratulate her on a well-earned retirement. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next up would be Joan on the Trailblazer Monthly Usage Report, but in this case, it's Jessica. Do you have those numbers?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. So I got those. So these are the July numbers. So they always about we usually they usually come up with the numbers mid-month from the previous month. So the daily average, just some highlights. The daily average was about 1,400. And keep in mind, this is July, so it's hot. So usually it ticks down in the June and July, and then it ticks back up, and then it'll go back down around December. But the weekday use, around 27,000. Weekend use, 15,000. Monthly total was 42,026. Year to date, 227,821. And again, came in the most popular was the Huntley Gravity Zone by a large margin, and then the second is the Greenway, Blowing Springs.
Would you mind emailing those numbers to me? I wasn't fast enough to write.
All that information is available on the city's website.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
one slide.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Next is new business. And I would like to introduce Liz Howie, who I had the pleasure of speaking with prior. We did things a little differently this time. In order to fill the position before November, and go through the process. I've sped things up a little bit. We spoke over the phone, sounded great. The board has approved her. She'll be joining us from here on out. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to let her introduce herself. Okay. You have the floor.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody. I moved here the end of March from Colorado. I am retired, so I have the time to spend, and thought I should join a committee, and this committee appeals to me. I use all of the amenities. I golf, I kayak, I hike, I bike, I use the rec center, and I love them. We have great amenities here. So I'm thankful to kind of be the eyes and ears for our membership and for this committee and for the board. I've always been involved in this sort of thing. I was on the condo board in our previous community. I was the condo board president at one moment in time. I was on the social committee. My husband and I, my husband's passed recently, but we owned an insurance agency, and so we were very involved in business community as well. Lions Club, Chamber of Commerce, he was the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Many holiday social events we helped organize. So I like to be involved. And I just wanted to thank you for giving me this opportunity to join all of you.
Welcome.
Welcome. All right, next up would be the Branchwood Pickleball Gate, which Jessica, I imagine, would report on.
Welcome. So yeah, we just wanted to touch on this and make, we're aware of it obviously, and make sure everybody's aware where we're at on that. So we had a contractor come out. This is regarding adding a side gate. I don't have my cardinal directions right now, but a side gate, additional side gate to the pickleball Branchwood courts. And actually we also got a quote for the back gate for if your ball goes out and you gotta hike it back to the forest. Yeah. So we have those quotes, and we will be budgeting that for 2025. You know, if it's a perfect year and we didn't have any storms, especially like this last one, you know, for example, at the marina, we hit approximately 20,000 worth of damage, then, you know, we talk about it this year. But we definitely, it's on the radar. We've got the quotes, and we're hoping to put it in early 2025.
I will say it before Richard does. As we're contemplating gates, there's always been a concern that the primary gate enters in the middle of play, the second court from the left. Just ideally, like at Metfield, your gate enters in the middle of the court, so you're not walking in as people were playing and potentially creating a safety hazard. So I know Richard's brought it up multiple times in his reports, just maybe a consideration as they're installing gates, they're moving chain, to move the primary gate over probably 12 feet.
So when you're talking about the primary, you're talking about the one when you come up right directly on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in front of the pavilion. You're sitting there on the bench.
From the shade.
Yeah.
From the shade show.
I call it the shade.
Yeah, you've got two courts, and rather than the gate entering between the courts,
Yeah.
it actually enters in the middle of this.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is anybody that, as those courts get full, anybody that starts playing on this court, immediately as another court frees up will move, because you're constantly having to stop play because people are having to walk behind you
Well,
while
and
you're
the
playing.
addition of this, on the side.
Yeah.
So instead of coming through that front gate, you can walk around.
Yeah, which is helpful.
Yeah. We can get them all to do that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. Moving along, we have, oh, do we have, okay.
I just have
Go ahead, Richard.
one, you might already be aware of this, but there's a couple of fence posts at the Branchwood pickleball courts that have broken.
On where, when you say broken,
At the bottom of the
at the bottom?
post.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's wind damage or someone running into the fence or whatever, but there's one on court 1, and then there's also one on court 5 that are broken,
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
That may be something we can do in-house before that.
Yeah, and they've just broken off kind of at the base,
Yeah, right.
you know, by either wind damage or someone running into them or whatever. I don't know what caused it, but.
Johnny, are you watching?
He is, yes. All right, we have, we have a board liaison with us today. Deborah, do you have anything to add?
Good afternoon. Liz, welcome. Welcome to Bella Vista. Welcome to the committee. I hope you love it. I did. I was on it for 3 years. Committee, thank you guys for what you do. You add so much value. We appreciate the work. And again, I know firsthand what it takes to evaluate these and kind of be an extra set of eyes and ears. So thank you for all that effort. And Johnny, if you are watching, it was a pleasure meeting you this morning at Blowing Springs.
You're getting a lot of FaceTime here. All right. Next on our agenda are the POA staff reports, and I guess we start with Tom.
I've spoken of.
Okay. Moving along, Rick, our superintendent of lakes.
All right. Again, I speak of these lake drawdowns at every meeting. Norwood this year, there's roughly only 15 dock owners affected. This drawdown will be November 4th to March the 3rd. We're shooting for 3 inches a day, 6 feet in total, and this is so we can do some dredging at the back of the lake that's needed. And our POA rangers this month had 8,731 contacts. Very busy for August, and 417 non-members were asked to leave. We had 850 contacts by boat and 190 boat hours logged for August. That is down slightly from July, as you would expect, where we had 9,800 contacts, but well up from August of 2023, where we had 5,300. So more than 3,000 more contacts this August versus the previous.
Do we know why we have so many more? Just more people using, or do we have the same number of rangers?
We have roughly the same number of rangers, yeah. So I don't know, maybe they just happened to run into some bigger groups this last month. I'm not real sure. We have had some ongoing issues with construction barges kind of taking up space that's designated for membership to dock their boats. We try to make the improvement of private docks and that kind of thing as easy as we can for residents, but we have had some contractors kind of misuse the privilege of docking up on the shoreline. So we sent out a certified letter a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, asking that they refrain from leaving these barges overnight, that it should be reserved, the privilege should be reserved for loading and unloading materials. And we've gotten some responses from that. We've also asked that we don't require a fee to register their barges, their boats, work boats, because again, we want to make sure that folks have contractors to choose from. But we are asking that they stop by and pick up a registration that allows us to know who these people are. So if there is an issue, we can get in touch with them. So that's kind of a new policy, and it's had some hiccups, but we'll get it streamlined. Grounds maintenance has been removing a lot of trees from the lakes, especially on Loman from the recent storm. We didn't require any fertilization of any of the lakes in the last month. We are continuing to do some tree trimming. The guys were at Blowing Springs last week, kind of widening out the road in, some of the overhanging branches that have been rubbing against RVs. So we got that taken care of. Also at Loman Park and at the Avalon Dam. And we continue to be fully staffed. In our fisheries and aquaculture area, we do have the the aquaculture capital project is ready to be closed. I can close that tomorrow. And we are spot spraying, continuing to spot spray the lakes where water willow gets in the way. And our largemouth bass assessment is now on the website for the year. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Rick. Next up is John.
So the same attendance that we were talking about with the lake rangers, we noticed that same trend with the gun range. Astoundingly, over at Trap and Skeet, we were up about 50% year over year for attendance, and that was members, the whole category. We were completely up by 50%. When I dug into it, it looks like we had a particularly low year last year, and we were slightly or considerably above average this year, considerably below average last year. So you put it together and it made 50%. Year over year, we're up about 12% on rounds sold, which is really, really good considering last year we had an outstanding year. And to cap it all off, I feel like I said this the last time we had a tournament as well. Yesterday we had the largest single day tournament we have ever had at Trap and Skeet. 16,000 targets were thrown yesterday, and that was in a single day, and I think we had 90 participants. They shot about 8 rounds apiece is what it came down to, and that's a lot of trap for a tournament. So that's all I got. All good news over here.
And you said that the 16,000 is about our maximum capacity for one day.
If we go much farther, we are going to be running into some major logistical issues. We can get over it, I think, but we're pushing our limit with the amount of facility that we have.
Thank you, John. Next up is Jessica filling in for Joan.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say real quick to what JP had talked about with his member interaction. I think I need to say that when he's talking about the couple that was frustrated with getting a slip, the width of the channel where the docks are at Loch Lomond is at max. We couldn't add another dock. So good problem nonetheless. All right, so for recreation, we're working on, Metfield Pool's closed, and we're working on some slide repairs, more aesthetic, that I think Robert had brought up about. We've been waiting for the perfect time 8 months ago, but so we're going to be working on that. Kingsdale Pool is closing September 15th. That's a Sunday. We will have an end-of-year cookout. Famous chef comes, me, and makes hot dogs. Yeah, September 15th. Yeah.
It'll be that day.
It'll be the closing day. Yeah. And that's just a fun, lot of regulars and families come out. So we do a cookout for free. We also had an end of season lifeguard party that we always do each year. It was Olympic themed this year. The kids were really tired this year, so they weren't as much, but I think it's because it was, I say this every year, but it was so hot this year. But so they really kind of just wanted to lounge around in the pool and not be lifeguards, which was fine, and it was fun. So after the Kingsdale Pool closes, that following Saturday, September 21st, it used to be called Dog Days of Summer, now it's called Pups in the Pool. Same thing. We need about 6-7 days to let all the chemicals dissipate in the pool, and then you can bring your dog or dogs. It's $10 per dog. All the money goes to benefit the Bella Vista Animal Shelter, and they feed you lunch. I think they do like hot dogs and hamburgers, and they also do like a hot dog thing for the dogs. But it's really fun to just come and see. Even if you don't have a dog, it's hilarious. I mean, these dogs, they're so funny. But we also do it in the baby pool. So for smaller dogs or older dogs, they don't have to just be small, but older dogs can get in, and it's just 1 foot deep. And then we've had a great demand for the coming up event of Flea in the Park, and lot of vendors. So that'll be Friday, October 4th and Saturday, October 5th. And this is our 7th annual one. It's my favorite event. So Flea in the Park.
Oh, Flea.
Flea in the Park, yeah. And so there'll be a lot of reminders that come out, but it's just for you guys to kind of know, to share with people, especially if you go down to Blowing Springs. Those 2 days as we come up on it, you cannot park down there. You will not be allowed to. You'll be stopped before you come to the first trailhead. We will have adequate parking, but you can get off and bike down there. You can walk down there. We'll have shuttles that go down there, but you cannot go further into the park unless, of course, you're staying there. So Haunted Mini Golf will be coming up following that. So what that is, that's the Kingsdale, or mini golf course that's over at the Kingsdale Pool, by the Kingsdale Pool, in BVRC. The go live date is October 19th. And that, when I say go live, we light it up. So at nighttime, it's lit up, it's haunted, not so haunted, for the kids, but it's a fun thing. And you can come play mini golf at night, and check out, we have a lot of vignettes. Everybody does one, so it's cute, it's fun. VVRC, over 1,000 fobs have been sold. Yeah, so that keeps moving. Tennis courts 1 and 2, the resurfacing has been completed, back in use early this week with some lessons. And the marina update, the gas stock has been fixed. That was fixed last week. For people to get gas, it could not be from the storm, just because we wanted to make sure nothing got out. But it's fixed. You can use it. Sea dock, which was the dock that incurred the most damage, that dock, it's about 2 weeks out as of last Thursday from the beginning repairs of that. If you are on Sea Dock, the marina is we will accommodate you to get to your boat so you can get out, and that can even happen after hours. The team over there has been doing quite a bit of that, so we want everybody who has a boat there to be able to get to their boat. And the marina will close at the end of the month. And I believe that is it from recreation. And I do want to say, because I probably won't ever get to say this because Joan won't ever let me, but I'm going to miss Joan. And she, I hope everybody does congratulate her, because her life is recreation, and she loves this community, and she's staying here. And she'll hopefully be our yoga instructor for years to come. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. All right, are there any final comments?
Yeah, since you mentioned the kids at the pool, I'm at Kingsdale probably 3 days a week swimming, and they're just some of the nicest kids working the booth there. Have lifeguards over on the adult side, and people, I'm new to the community, but I'm a lap swimmer, and you can get 2 people in that sort of lane. I'd love to see more, but that's a whole nother issue. But I would say everybody cooperates, and which, I don't know, maybe that's normal around here, but everyone's very cooperative if 2 people need to use the lane swimming, because like I said, I'm there a lot, and that's a compliment to your team, Jessica. They're just the nicest kids. That's my comment.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for their input and the time that you invest in this community, making it the great place it is today. Our next meeting will be October 14th at 4 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.